But once again, it's only one leg of a four-legged stool, and that's the standards. I think we still need to work, much harder on process as it relates to, who has the information, how do you get the information. Once the information gets there, what confidence do I have that that individual is going to hold and retain that information in a very trusted way. An effort that's also underway and actually has been completed and is being presented to the President is a report on controlled unclassified information. And that was something that came out under the previous administration as one of the 5 presidential guidelines, I think of December 2005. And what it is, in the intelligence community, they have very structured controls and standards regarding top secret, secret, confidential, and then various compartments associated with that. So when you receive a piece of information, if it says TS, SCI, no foreign, or whatever, you know exactly what to do with that information. And oftentimes that information is obtained very, very covertly with the sources and methods. Now, when I was with the troopers, we would do wiretaps a lot. We were one of the lead agencies in the country who did wiretaps. We operated sources, legally. We put, bugs in people's homes to monitor things based on a search warrant. So those are the same sources and methods being used by our intelligence community, yet we have no standards and process in an unclassified realm that if I would take and send a piece of information to an individual, what confidence would I have that that individual would hold, retain, store, and destroy or share that information? So really that's what CUI is all about, and that goes to the conversation of process and what to do next. Another part of it is the tools, and there's a number of tools out there, and it's probably a conversation that needs to be continued, whether it's HISN, LEO, RISNet, what tool do you want to use? And when I go to my home computer, and once again, I'm not the most computer literate individual in the world, I do know enough that I have my MSN home page, and I'm able to construct, what I like, what I want to see on a regular basis, whether it's the New York Times or the LA Times, the Washington Post, are all competitors, yet I'm capable of grabbing them and putting them on my dashboard. So when I get up in the morning, it's there waiting for me, things that are interesting to me that I want to see. So that's something, I think is definitely within the realm of possibility and something that we need to continue and really action upon. And when you add to that Facebook and A-Space and things like that, the area of possibilities are certainly limitless. And then lastly, information. We need to get you access to the information that you need through those tools based on those processes and based on the standards, so you don't have to rely on the federal government, that you can take and do your own analysis, for your particular region or state or jurisdiction and make it more real-time and meaningful, and then we, through a series of processes can assist you and benefit, that two-way street back and forth. So that's really, my comments, where I think, we are and where we need to go. I once again really appreciate, Justin, and also Donna, for pulling this together and having such a great turnout. And I really look forward to, partnering with you in the future, working with you in the future, and listening to you and trying to the best of my ability, act upon, what you're telling the department as a whole. So I really appreciate it. I don't know if you want to take any questions or, yeah, sure, yep.
Anyone have any questions? Please.
So is that understanding? It made sense?
Look, he's already tearing up his notes. So,
On to the next one. All right. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bart, and we appreciate your stewardship at DHS, and it's the safety and security of the country and our families is always paramount in all of our minds, and thank you for your shepherd. The next speaker is no stranger to you after this week or previously. She is Ms. Donna Roy, and she serves as the executive director of the NIEM program. But Donna has a day job. During her day job, she is the director of the Enterprise Data Management Office for the Department of Homeland Security. No small task in and of itself. You can imagine trying to herd the cats to bring all of the agencies that have made up DHS and not just bring them into the same tent, but make sure that their data looks something like what it's supposed to look at the end of the day. So that's fairly much a full-time job. Prior to that, however, Donna also was a consultant and program manager for the National Biological Information Infrastructure Program at USGS, and also was a vice president of a Fortune 200 company. So she has a very, very background. And since she's come back to the government, she's been noted both with the Department of Homeland Security's Secretary's Award back in 2008, and in 2009 by Federal Computer Weekly as one of the top 100 feds. So without further ado, if you'd please help me in welcoming our own Donna to the dais.
And a round of applause for Bart, please. So, again, welcome. I think I've welcomed you like 3 or 4 times now, but welcome again. The last time we counted, we had 32 of the 50 states represented here today. That's no small feat. I know what your budgets look like. I know what my budget looks like, so I know what your budgets look like as well. It's scarce. It's hard to come here, and I want to particularly thank you for making the trip. And for those of you out there in TV land, thank you for paying attention. So 21 federal agencies. That's not small either, because in the D.C. area, this is far enough away to be a significant time in your budget, and yet, you know, it's not allowable for an overnight stay. So it's kind of a big deal to get 21 federal agencies from inside the Beltway out to outside of the Beltway. And then there's 100 or so of our industry partners out here. 100 companies. I mean, you think about that. 100 companies came to this little party we have out here we're calling a training event. Look how far we've come with the NIEM program. So I do have some slides. They're riveting, right? So if you look at this is my job as it's listed in the official DHS policy. I'm responsible, big job, for the management of the sum. I like to read this because it's somewhat intimidating. The sum of all data collected, created, used, managed, maintained, shared, and stored by the DHS components. We forgot dispose at that point. I think we'll throw that in on the next policy. And then sponsors the implementation of initiatives set forth in that strategy. So we have a strategy. One of the major initiatives we have on that strategy is the implementation of NIEM inside the department and the implementation of NIEM and our state and local partners. So this is just part of my core job. My other job, that's my day job. This is my night job. This is the one that keeps me up at night. So just about a year and a week ago, in 5 hours and 3 minutes, I was designated as the executive director by the Executive Steering Committee, Council, call them a committee. And read the last sentence of this job. So, in addition, he or she will facilitate the requirements gathering across all levels of government, NIEM members, NIEM implementers, to ensure the program meets the needs of its users. That's you. So that's not a small job, right? So big job and a big job equals I love my job, right? I love my job. There's no better job for me at this point in my life. So I do think when you talk about the NIEM program, it's important, it's always important to remember where you came from, right? I come from a blue-collar family. It's important for me to remember where I came from. I come from a family of hard-working, factory-driven, blue-collar workers. The NIEM program comes from, you know, similar kind of a similar feeling. Roll your sleeves up, get it done, build a model, because we need to share information. We need to share it to keep people safe. We need to share it to keep bad people off our streets. That's really where it started, right? Mike DeConta and Jim Fegans, they had this great idea, you know, let's make something bigger of GJXDM. And more importantly, though, a program like this doesn't survive without executive leadership. It just doesn't. And I think that the one leader that has stood behind us, in front of us, for us, and out there marketing is Mr. Van Hitch. And so he is the gentleman of gentlemen, so the godfather of CIOs. I love that. Godfather of CIOs. But has been a true champion in the program. And even he, you know, a veteran of many federal years in that seat, he's out there saying now, NIEM, the thing we do, the information sharing we do between DHS and DOJ, that could be a national, I mean, we could use that nationally for almost everything. And that's not a small thing for a CIO of his stature, of his experience, and his knowledge of this program to say. He doesn't say that lightly. And he said it just a couple of days ago. So Van will be joining us tomorrow along with Vivek and Mr. Richard Spires. Please ask Mr. Spires something really, really hard. For the, right, that's a joke. Don't. Unless you want me to get fired. So at the closing plenary tomorrow. So really, just look how in 4 years, this MOU that we did in 4 years, look how far we've come, right? A little XML model for information sharing is now something we're considering for a broader use and not, you know, not a small use, given what's happened in the past couple of weeks. And what's happened in the past couple of weeks has affected my day job significantly. And let me tell you, it's a humbling work. So I just want to. So why are we here? You know, it's beautiful. We're here in Baltimore. Why are you here? So by a raise of hands, can you show me why you're here? So A, who's here to check out Camden Yards? Come on, there's some hands. I know there's baseball fans here. Right? So who came to meet Vint Cerf? Oh, come on. Vint's probably watching. All right. Who came to hear Vivek? Yeah, a few hands. Who came to learn about NIEM 2.1? Oh, liking these hands. 2.1. All right. Who came here to make progress at reducing the barriers in information sharing? Yeah, so that's why we're here, right? And I want to talk about, this is information sharing by Donna, right? Not blessed by anyone. This is a deep look into Donna's brain. You might want to put your 3D glasses on. So I'd like to talk about it kind of in a few areas. So when I first came here, I'm like, information sharing, oh, that's easy. That'll be some sort of easy job, right? Information flies around today like you wouldn't believe. Mobile phones, music players, internet, tweets, right? So grade school kids make this look easy. It moves around so fast, right? Why is it so hard? It just moves. The devices work. It moves. Why it's so hard? I get these questions now from our new administration. Present to me on a chart how all of the databases are connected in the department. I mean, you have that, right? In your back office? I'm like, okay, so maybe it's not that so hard. So I break it down into about 5 things. Access barriers, right? So legal, I just tell them access because it's legal privacy policy, those rules that are kind of encapsulated around the data. In each type of data that we create and store, right? We collect data in the government, in the state, local, tribal, federal government for a particular purpose, and then we are trusted to protect that data. And so sometimes there are legal reasons why we can't share, right? So that's a big thing to do.